Start right over here in the right with Austin.
JT, this might be obvious, I don't know, and it's only one day of practice, but does this feel different without any of the controversy or battle of a year ago?
Yeah, it's different because my boy 12 ain't here. But as far as like a way the battle or the quarterback competition went, it's a little different. But still just trying to find a way to get better each day, especially fundamentals. Make sure that when you start, the main thing is these first couple of days, getting back in the groove of things and finding something that you can work on each and every day to keep on getting better. So that part didn't change, but yeah, that's my boy 12.
What did you want to do on the first day?
Main thing was just stay back in the pocket. Sometimes I creep up in the pocket and then I'm throwing with, our 6'5" guards, and I'm throwing like this over top, and as you can see, I'm not the tallest cat, so trying to stay back and make sure I keep my depth in the pocket.
So,
Coach Meyer talked about the edge, the theme. Could you discuss that, what it means to you guys?
Yeah, so with edge, where average stop and elite begins, for me, and I think for a lot of our teammates, is something that really hits home, being that everybody can be pushed to a certain point, but wherever that point may be, and it's different for each individual, wherever that point may be, you have to find a way to get through that. And you can't do it by yourself. That's not one of the things. And a lot of times you don't do it for yourself. You do it for your teammates and I guess the bigger cause, something bigger than yourself. So I think with that is something that everybody's pushing towards. So when that point comes, because you don't know when it's going to come. Like he talked about, last year it could have been Indiana for some guys. And a year before that, it could have been Penn State. I know for myself. So it's the point where you feel like you can't go any further, but then you realize that it's bigger than yourself, and that gives you the extra motivation and push that you need to get beyond that and become elite.
Given that it's such an inexperienced team, how important is it to have that kind of definition?
Yeah, so with being a young team, I think just having something like that, because for a lot of those guys, they haven't even played a snap, so let alone where it's like on the road and it's overtime and we're down by 7, you know what I'm saying? But you try to create those situations in practice, so when they come, game time, and when they do come, because it's going to come in the season, we don't know when, but just try to make sure that they're ready. And I think with, like you said, the definition with the young guys is very narrowed down, so it's easier for them to understand.
JT, is there anything that maybe you're taking approach-wise specifically when it comes to getting the ball to these wide receivers? I mean, obviously they're talented, but they're inexperienced. So
yeah.
Maybe you can elaborate on some stuff that you're doing specifically to get these guys ready.
I just got to keep on working on just throwing on time and getting it out of my hands as fast as I can, which that means on time, not trying to hold it, so I can get in their hands and let them do what they came here to do, and that's make plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to sit back there and run around and run away from big 6'5", 275 DNs. Like, that's not why I came. I came to throw the ball, get it out of my hands so they could do their job. So I think myself is help them understand like spacing of things. The passing game is all spacing and timing, so understanding spacing and then understanding the timing. So whether it be an in-breaking route, and let them understand like, hey, you got time to work because we have another route right here. So you don't have to rush into it. You still have create space, and would let time develop and let that happen. So I'll be able to get you the ball when it needs to be, and not early because then it's too congested. So things like that, for example, those are things I try to help with.
Anybody standing out to you? I mean, I know it's only the first day of practice.
No, not really. I'm happy to see my boy Noah back. That was my man. Last year it was good to see him back. But like you said, it's the first day. And everybody's like, my day wasn't terrific, you know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things. We get back in the groove, flow of things, and in a week we're having a different conversation.
Yeah, JT, you just touched on it. When you think back to last year, and I know, I'm not trying to get you to dwell on it, but y'all lost, Noah Brown and Corey Smith. Corey Smith was coming on. I mean, those were 2 of your 3. How tough was it to get a passing game going as you watched it from the bench and then stepped in there? But then number 2, what do those 2 guys especially bring to the table that you saw maybe even today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say that it prevented us, to do well in the passing game. I think there was a lot that as quarterbacks, me and Cardell could have done better, and then also the receivers that we did have because we were deep. We were still young guys like, KJ, Torrance, things like that. Those guys were still young, but having them back, it's just better for us because you know that they're smart enough to be interchangeable on that X and Z, so the outside guys. So with that, it helps us play faster and know that I don't have to worry about them a lot of times. We're not having the same conversation like I would with a young guy like Austin Mack. You know what I'm saying? Hey, calm down. No, understand. Like I just said, like the spacing of things. Whereas Noah and Corey, they understand it because they've been around. So I think that's something that's good to have back. And then just confidence with those guys as well. Like Noah, I trust that if the guy's on top of Noah, I can just put it anywhere around Noah, and Noah's gonna get it. Like I feel like Noah has my back, and when the ball's in the air, it's his. You know what I'm saying? Where sometimes the young guys, they still have to develop that, and that's still technique type of stuff. But I know with Noah and Corey, they have that mentality like, hey, when the ball's in the air, it's mine, especially when it's in my area.
Yeah.
So that's something good to have.
So Noah's kind of your Marvin Harrison. No, sure.
He's
But
my guy.
to pass that, I was looking at that group of receivers when you guys were warming up, and I mean, hardly any of those guys have played. Can you get enough? You're a quarterback. Can you get enough experience with those guys in a preseason camp to make it to groove it?
Yeah, I believe so. I think, especially the way we practice. I mean, it's not easy by any means. So I think with the reps that we have in place that Coach Meyer is going to get us, I think we're going to be able to be ready. The guys are going to stand out there, the first snap of when we play in Bowling Green. Those guys are going to be ready. And I'm going to have confidence in them. So.
Just moving from pass game to run game, Mike Weber, Curtis Samuel, Dontre Wilson. You lose Zeke, but as you start camp, how confident are you that running game's going to be
Oh yeah.
at the level you guys want?
Coach Alfred, he's gonna have those guys ready to go. And here at Ohio State, that's what we're about. We're gonna run the ball. Like, we're not shy to say that. We're gonna run the ball and do it well. So, with that being said, I don't have any, lack of confidence or there's not gonna be any hesitation with those guys and calling those type of plays because Coach Alfred is going to do a great job of making sure Mike Weber's going to be ready. And Curtis, he's been back there before. Same thing with Dontre, but Dontre is going to get a little more inside stuff, which he could definitely do. So,
What just Mike Weber? What jumps out about him?
I think the main thing is he's low to the ground. I think he's a very hard runner, but it's hard to get at his legs because he's so low. I'm not saying he's the shortest, but his center of gravity is low, so I think that would make him difficult to tackle. And then he has a motor like any other. I think with him being behind Zeke for a year, same thing with Curtis when he was back there in 2014. What Coach Alfred teaches and then seeing somebody do it in front of you, that you see that playing running back, it doesn't matter if you're blocking, running, run blocking, for me, all these different things, like you just got to go at a high tempo all the time. And I think he's definitely learned that from Zeke, which is going to come out in this game.
Doug?
JT, I know you spent a ton of time with him over the years and you were friends off the field too, but on a day like this, do you miss Cardale or are you like, oh, God, I'm done with that guy, I'm glad he's gone.
No.
I'm sick of dealing with him.
No, Cardale, we all know he was a character. But I do miss him just because our room, he's not as lively. I mean, it's hard to get emotion when you watch y'all guys going to talk to Joe Burrow in a couple of years, try to get him to smile a couple times. It's tough duty, you know what I'm saying? But Cardale, he was something in our unit room that was help everybody relax and always had something crazy to say. But I'm probably gonna call him FaceTime tonight, see who's there too. They still in camp, see how his day's going. But from what he told me, he's getting better. So I think it's good.
I mean, have you guys communicated much?
Yeah, I talked to him, what's today, Sunday? Probably Thursday I talked to him. So.
Do you think you'll always sort of have that connection just because of being in the room together and competing against each other and being friends? Like, will that always sort of stay with you?
Yeah, I believe so. He's just one of those people. I knew he had my back, and I think when you compete against somebody, I think that was the kind of thing I think oftentimes, I guess, throughout the past and history, that if you're competing with somebody, it's almost like you don't like them or things like that. But with me and Cardell, it wasn't like that. Like if he did something, I was happy for him, and then if he needed help with something, whether it be me or him, we helped each other out. And I don't think that was a common thing. And it was hard for some people to realize that. Like I don't know how many times people ask me, like, "Are you and Cardell really friends?" Yes. Like, and it was weird because that's all I knew. I mean, I really didn't compete for a position, I guess, before. But yeah, it was my guy. I think that's a life relationship I'm gonna have.
Dave?
Are you calling Michael Jordan still Marcus Jordan? Has he earned the right
No.
to be called Michael Jordan
My
yet?
man, Mike Jordan, I call him Michael, same thing. I was just something I messed with him about, but no, he's doing well for us. I think with reps with him, he's going to keep on getting better. He's real physical up front, and I talked to Raekwon about it, and I feel like, Raekwon, he's our top linebacker, so Raekwon says that you like Mike Jordan at that guard position, then I think that's some respect, so it's pretty good.
How do you feel about the offensive line overall? Obviously, you have Pat Elflein coming back. He's been
Yeah.
the center. You have Billy Price coming back. Marco Jones is locked in. How do you feel about the O-line overall?
Yeah, overall, I think we're going to be good. I just got to get those guys, make sure we keep on flying around. I know sometimes the O-linemen, when we're playing up-tempo offense, they're looking at you like, man, I hate you. But I got to push them because when it comes down to the game, they're going to be more tired than us. We've been doing it. So I know you give them the looks, but let's get it together, baby. We're going to keep on pushing. But no, I think all those guys that you mentioned, Coach Stelz's going to do a great job of having them ready to go, and we're going to be real physical up front. That's what we're about.
Got time for one more, Mitch?
This is such a young and inexperienced team. Does it feel different starting camp with these players than, say, like last year when you had everybody coming back? And if so, how?
I don't think it feels crazy different. Even with the guys we had last year, it wasn't like, I guess the approach was any different. Like we still had the same type of install with our basic plays, making sure that we get really good at those plays. And that's the same thing we did here. So even as, I guess, with the experience we had last year, it wasn't like there was a different approach. And we still had the same feel. Everybody came out there juiced up, ready to go. It was just different numbers, different faces. But it wasn't, I guess, a crazy difference because their approach was the same. I think it would be different if it was like last year. We didn't, I guess, go over some of the basic things since we were older, but that's not how we work. So even with our basic stuff that we have, we always try to make sure that there's something you can still get better with those plays as well. So I think that's something that, I guess, didn't make a difference.
All right, thanks, JT. Appreciate it.
Joe Burrow, John Burrow.
Absolutely.